All right, all praises, all praises. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, glory to the Most High. In the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. We're going to just go straight into the class, because as you can see, we're streaming live from the wilderness. Get a little bit of feedback. Turn me down on number, soldier, turn me down on number 3, on, no, not from up there, but from the level itself. From the level itself. Yeah, just turn me down on number 3, just a little. No, turn me down. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, we good there? Are we good?
1, 2. With it loud.
Colonel is the, look, not that one, look. The other plug, where you see the plug in, going in?
Yep.
Not that. The next, right. Turn him down. Go ahead, speak, Colonel.
1, 2,
Turn him down.
1,
Okay.
2.
There we go. All praises, all praises. All praises. Just sorting out the kinks, you know. Out in the wilderness, anything can happen. Anything. All right. So today's class is called Survival in the Wilderness. Again, survival in the wilderness. You can ask everybody to just turn his phones on silent so we don't disrupt the class. All right. All praises. The first scripture that we go into is Revelation 12 and verse 5. Revelation 12 and verse 5. All right. So I just want to welcome everyone to the Sabbath class. All right. Happy Feast of Tabernacles for everyone who's celebrating. All right. If you've kept it already, all praises. If you're keeping it now, all praises. If yours is on the way to come, all praises. All right. So, happy Sabbath once again to all the Sabbath keepers. All right. It is hot out here, but nevertheless, we gonna make it do what it do. All right. We got business to do, the kingdom business, the Most High's business. All right. So the first scripture that we're going to is Revelation 12 and verse 5.
Reading from the book of Revelations, chapter 12 and verse 5.
Come on.
And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron.
So that man-child is talking about Christ, Yahweh Shai. He was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. Read on.
And the child was caught up unto God and to his throne.
Unto his throne. So Christ is seated at the right hand of the Father currently right now. Read on.
Verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness.
Now that woman is talking about Israel. So that woman is Israel. Read on.
Where she had a place prepared of God.
So she had a place prepared of God. So that woman was taken into the wilderness. So, yes, Israel, we're going back into the wilderness a second time. But understand this. It says it's a place prepared of God. Read on.
That they should feed her there 1,203 score days.
So that number that you see there, it's not a definite number, but it's showing you we're going to be in the wilderness for a period of time. We don't know how long, okay? But what we're saying to you is this. Prepare to be there. Well, should you make it? That's the first important part. Should you make it to the wilderness? Prepare to be there for a time. All right? It says what? She should be there 2,000. Well, go back to where it says a place prepared of God that they should feed her there. Go ahead.
That they should feed her there 1,203 score days.
All right, verse 7.
Verse 7. And there was war in heaven.
So, of course, do you know the war, right? The high places are going to get thrown down. Those who are ruling this earth, they're going to get thrown down. Come on.
Michael and his angels fought against the dragon.
The dragon is talking about Esau, okay? When you read the book of Revelation where it mentions that red dragon, when you go back to Genesis, the first was born red and hairy all over. It's talking about Esau. It's an allegory for Esau. Read on.
And the dragons fought. And his angels, and the dragons fought, and his angels, and prevailed not.
and prevailed not. So this dragon will not win that war. Okay? In terms of retaining his high place, he will not win. Because who will throw him down? When you read the book of Obadiah, God will be the one who threw him down. Because Esau, of his arrogance, he will get thrown down. Because he ascended, right? And said, who's going to throw me down, right? Who will throw me down? God will throw him down. So he will not prevail. Read on.
Neither was their place found anymore in heaven.
So their place of rulership is not going to be found anymore once they get thrown out of their rulership. They're not going back into rulership again. Ever, 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 ever. This is their last shebang. Read on.
And the great dragon which was cast out,
So that great dragon Esau that get removed from his rulership. Read on.
that old serpent called the devil.
So he's likened unto a serpent, but he's called the devil. Come on.
And Satan.
And he's called Satan. See, a lot of Christians get that mixed up and they're thinking it's literally talking about Satan. No, Satan has workers in the earth. But it says that dragon, that serpent, that nation, Esau, they're called the devil and they're called Satan. Y'all get the point? It's what they're called. It's not saying he is Satan, but he's called. Because what? What does the book of Malachi say? They're the most wicked what? Nation on the face of the earth. They're the border of what? They're the border of wickedness. There you go. So they're called that. That's the key word there. They're called that. It's not saying they are that. Because Satan is an evil entity that works for Yahweh on the left-hand side. But he has, what you call them, minions that carry out his work in the earth. Just like Yahweh has his workers, which are those that keep the commandments. Satan has his minions. And he works through Esau primarily. All right? Primarily. Read on.
Which deceiveth the whole world.
Because Esau deceived the whole world. He told everybody that Christ was white. He told everybody that Amalek and those persons, the Khazars, they're the real Jews. All right, the laws are done away with. Christianity, you name it. They deceived the whole entire world. Read on.
And his angels were cast out, which deceived the whole world.
Uh-huh.
He was cast out into the earth,
Uh-huh.
and his angels were cast out with him.
His messengers, all those that work with Esau, they're going to be cast out of their rulership as well. Read on.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of God.
So when all those things have passed, Esau have removed from their rulership, right? Came a loud voice from heaven, right? That says what? Read it again.
Now is come salvation.
Now is come salvation. What is salvation? What is salvation? Soldier Gaba. What is salvation? From, thank you, to be saved from your enemies. That is salvation. Okay? So now is salvation comes. So you're going to be saved from your enemies if you keep the commandments. Right? Read on. Watch this.
And strength.
And strength. Read.
And the kingdom of our God. And the power of his Christ.
Okay, good. The power of his son Yahweh Shai, the Christ. What verse you at?
This verse 10.
Good. Read on.
For the accuser of our brethren is cast down.
The accuser is cast down. Read on.
Which accuse them before our God day and night.
Day and night. Read on.
And they overcome him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they love not their lives unto death.
It's talking about those that kept the commandments, believed on Christ, and they put their brick in for this truth. Right? They put their brick in. They love not their lives unto death, meaning that they put their brick in for this truth, and they place that as priority over everything. Read on.
Verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
So when they get removed from their rulership, they're going to be so angry, all right? But they know that their time is short. Read on.
Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast out unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
So, that woman, Israel, is going to be persecuted on a higher level. All right? Jacob's trouble will intensify on a level like you've never seen before, because the reason is showing you right there. It says, when the dragon, in other words, when that nation, Esau, realized that they're now on that same level with Yah. Now when he realized he got removed from his rulership, right? He got what? Very angry. You understand that? And actually, there's a premonition to that happening right now. They're being very angry at our people, and you're trying to figure out why. Why is that happening? Because they know that their time is short. They know. They could see what's happening in the stock markets. They can see their financial system crumbling. They can see what's happening on the world stage. They're feeling like they're losing their grip on their rule in the earth. You understand that? So that made him angry, right? Read on. But it says he persecuted the woman. The woman. Who's the woman? Israel. Read on.
Verse 14.
Come on.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle.
You had, what verse you had? 14? No, read 13 again for me.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
Good. Persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. Persecuted Israel. Verse 14.
Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she may fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent.
Well, you see now how it relegates it to not a specific time now? Y'all see that? Y'all know that? It says for a time, it says nourished for a time, and times, and half a time. Now, just going back to the beginning of 14, it says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle. So the allegory is Israel was given wings like an eagle. Now what is that talking about? Who could tell me? Who could tell me? She was given wings like a great eagle. Who could tell me what that means? Nobody know what the allegory means? Brother DeAndre. Okay, you're going somewhere with it. But how can you fly? Can you fly? No, you can't fly. No. You was going somewhere with it first when you said to rise. Let's read it again. Let's get the understanding. Let's read it again.
Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings.
She was given 2 wings.
Of a great eagle.
Of a great eagle. Come on.
That she may fly into the wilderness.
That she may go where?
Into the wilderness.
That she may go where?
Into the wilderness.
Into the wilderness. So how is Israel going to get into the wilderness at that time? I mean, yes, Yahweh Shai. Now, I didn't say who. I said what. Not who, but what. What means or mechanism will Yahweh Shai and the angels, what means of transportation? Will they literally come with eagles? Thank you, the chariots. Thank you. The chariots will. And then when you read 2 Thessalonians, it shows you how he's going to return with the sound of a great trump. And you're going to see the millions of angels with him. And you're going to see them chariots coming. So the allegory here, remember, Revelation is a book of what? Allegories. The wings like an eagle is literally talking about Christ, the angels, coming back with the chariots and taking you into the wilderness, taking you there. So that's your mode or method of transportation that you will take, should you be around that time when it happens. Good. Read on. What verse was that? Okay, give me 14. Read 4. Yes. Wings of an eagle. She may fly into the wilderness. Go ahead. No. Just go back over 14 again.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she may fly into the wilderness, into her place.
Into her place. Understand, we read earlier that God created that place in the wilderness that Israel may be nourished there for a time. Right? Read on.
Where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent.
From the face of the
serpent.
Who's the serpent? There you go. So you will be protected from Esau in the wilderness. All right? Let's get the book of Hosea, chapter 2 and verse 14. So yes, the Most High, He did create a place that you can dwell safely. You can dwell, being safe from the serpent, which is Esau. Right? You won't have to worry there. He's not going to be there. All right? Hosea 2, verse 14.
Reading from the book of Hosea, chapter 2, and verse 14. Therefore, behold, I will allure her
I will allure her. So the her is talking about Israel. Come on.
and bring her into the wilderness
Uh-huh.
and speak comfortably unto her.
Speak comfortably unto her. All right? So understand this. Yes, we're going back to the wilderness. Right? And also understand this. The Most High will feed us there. Right? When it says speak comfortably to her, it's talking about we're going to be taught all over again. You understand that? Because something has to happen. Now, it says we're going to go into the wilderness by way of the chariots, if you understand the allegory. Right? But understand this. Going into the wilderness, Him speaking to us comfortably, and you comfortably accepting what is going to be taught to us in the wilderness by Yahweh Shai, the Christ. It also means that you're going to have to accept it comfortably. Now, there's some people who will not accept it comfortably, but we'll show you that. Right? Let's get down to verse 15. He will speak comfortably to Israel. Read on.
Verse 15. And I will give her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Anchor for a door of hope.
Come on.
And she shall sing there.
She'll sing there.
And in the days of her youth, as in the days when she came up out of the land of Egypt.
As in the days of when she came up out of Egypt. So it's not talking about the same wilderness. It's talking about what? A different wilderness. Not the one that we came out of Egypt and went into. This is going to be a new wilderness. All right? That was verse 15. Give me verse 16.
Verse 16. And it shall be at that day, saith the Lord, that thou shalt call me Aishi,
Come on.
and shall call me no more Bali. Bali.
Right. So you're not going to call him, it's just an allegory saying you're not going to call him no more Lord, but you're going to call him by name. All right? Go ahead.
For I will take away the name of Baalim
Baalim just translates into the Hebrew into Lord.
out of her mouth.
Out of her mouth. Because there's different lords. Paul showed you that. There's gods many, lords many, right? Some people think the word Lord is just universal for everything. And, you know, if some women hear their husbands being called Lord and they're like, what? You calling him Lord? Because they're thinking in their mind what? That's talking about who? Exactly. Lord is just a what? It is a title. It is a title. What does the title mean? It just means ruler. But there are many rulers in the earth, yes? So in that day, he's not going to just be called ruler. You're going to know him by name. Y'all get the point? Good. Read on. And you're going to know him by the true name as well. All right? Come on.
And they shall no more be remembered by their name.
Come on.
Verse 18.
That's verse 18. Come on.
And in that day will I make a covenant with them, with the beasts of the field, and with the fowl of the heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely.
Make them to lie down safely. So the Most High will provide protection and provision and food for us there. Now, when it goes into that provision, it's literally going into the basic essentials. Okay? If you understand the name of this class, it's called Survival in the Wilderness. Surviving in the wilderness, yes, you will have protection. Yes, you will have provision. But it's going to be, when it comes to your provision, the basic essentials. So, we're going to break down what spirit you're supposed to be in, even now in Tabernacles, right now as you're practicing. This is a practice for when you get to the real wilderness. Literal practice. The thing is, a lot of persons not going to make it out the wilderness because they were in the wrong spirit. We're going to show you that thing through the spirit. But we got to know how to survive. Survive in the wilderness. And I'm not just talking about survive physically, but survive spiritually. Because if you don't know how to survive spiritually in the wilderness, you're not going to make it out of that thing. All right? What verse you at? That was verse 18. Good. So provision, protection will be afforded to you because you made it thus far to the wilderness. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 74 and verse 14. The book of Psalms, chapter 74 and verse 14. Everybody got that? All right, go on.
Reading from the book of Psalms, chapter 74 and verse 14. Thou breakest the head of the Leviathan,
Leviathan.
Leviathan
Yes.
in pieces, and gave him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness.
So yes, the Most High will give provision, food. Leviathan is going to be provided as meat in the wilderness. All right? So the Most High will provide all things. Right? Now, a lot of people probably going to be like, I ain't eating that. I'm not eating that. I don't care what y'all say. I'm not eating that. So you're going to see coming out very early a very murmuring spirit. When certain person, mind you, they made it to the wilderness, you know. They made it. But now what comes out when you get to the wilderness now? A spirit of ungratefulness. A spirit of, I don't like it here. A spirit of, I want to go back to the way things were. Y'all want to go back to the way things were? You come over to Feast of Tabernacles, you get to unplug from the matrix, but you're so attached to the matrix, you can't really detach from it. You're so attached that being away from the matrix almost feels strange. It almost feels weird. It feels like this is not how things are supposed to be. Yes, you're really supposed to be out here one with nature, connecting with nature, right? As I say, grounding or earthing, whatever you call it, earthing. That's whatever the new name for it these days. Earthing, putting your bare feet on the ground, getting the natural sunlight. But some people so in the matrix that they think the life worth living is being cooped up in an office somewhere all day, breathing in mucky air conditioning, right? That giving you all sorts of microbial spores going into your lungs, and you think that's the life to live when you're supposed to be in nature, breathing the natural air, right? And our forefathers did that thing where they complained when they went into the wilderness. They complained on a level that you never seen before, to the point where the Most High had to destroy most of them. Okay? So, he broke the head of Leviathan in pieces and gave us him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness. This is going to happen again. It's going to happen again. All right? Give me the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 33. Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 33. Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 33.
Reading from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 30.
No, chapter 20.
Chapter 20 and verse 33.
Start from 33? Oh, yes, 33. Yes, 33. Yes, you're correct.
As I live, said the Lord, surely with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you.
Now, why will the Most High have to, with fury poured out with his outstretched arm, recover us in that type of manner? Why will he have to do it in such a forceful manner? Who can tell me? Absolutely. They're not going to give y'all up so easy. Y'all are their workforce. Y'all are the workhorses. You are the primary consumers of everything that makes them rich. Take you away, then it takes their finances away. It takes their empire that they've built and spent centuries building up. And you have been the ones for centuries building it up for them. You get the point. They're not going to just give y'all up like that. Okay? Read on.
Verse 34.
Come on.
And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with fury poured out.
With fury poured out, he's going to gather us from everywhere that we've been scattered. Read on.
Verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
Bring you into the wilderness of the people. Come on.
And there will I plead with you face to face.
So when it says plead with you face to face, it's talking about Christ is going to teach us these commandments, these laws, teach us the actual days and everything. Because Esau messed up everything, right? So that's why you have different organizations that celebrate things on different days, and there's a lot of back and forth on social media. And, oh, well, it's supposed to be this day, or it's supposed to be that. Listen, and this is one thing. Let me mention this, right? For those of you knucklehead Israelites out there who want to fight over when is the feast day supposed to be, and those of you who feel ashamed that you ain't celebrating a feast day when another brother or sister celebrating it, so you don't put it up on your thing because you don't want him to ask you, oh, why you ain't keeping it this day? Let me explain something to you. Right? When the Bible mentions to be kept in her season, what do you think that means? When it says this feast day to be kept in her season, or when it comes to the new moon to be kept in her season, the moon determines the month, right? Okay. So if in the moon determines the month and in her season is when you celebrate that thing, what do you think that means? When it says, you look at the word season. Okay, time, but season is season, thank you, a period. So if you're celebrating something in its season, right? Whether it falls on the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, right? So, of course, you're celebrating it in its season. So, you're keeping it. That's the most important thing. But some brews will say, no, you didn't keep it on the exact day, so you off. But here's my question to you. How you know you're keeping it on the exact rightful day based on how Esau changed up everything? Right? So just be happy that you are celebrating it, and be happy that you're convocating, you're keeping that, and you're keeping it in its season. Yeah, that's the right spirit to be in. Because the brew who gonna say, well, I ain't keeping it at all because I don't know which day. Oh, I'm ashamed to say I'm celebrating this day because I don't want anybody to question me and ask me why I'm celebrating. You off. You're in the wrong spirit. You're in the wrong spirit. And guess what? There's no. Let me say this. That's just a minority of people who act like that. The majority of Israel have matured to the point where they say all praises to anyone that's keeping it, no matter when they're keeping it. The majority. And that's why you hear us say, Happy Sabbath, whether you're keeping it today or it's coming for you. Because some people go by the dark moon, so their Sabbath falls at a different day in the week for them. Right? But they're keeping it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point that we're trying to show you. All right? So, what verse was that? 35. Good. You finished 35? Okay, good. So he will plead with us face to face. He'll teach us these laws again. He'll teach you when the actual days fall. He'll teach you the feast days all over again. He'll teach you if we were doing something off when we were doing the feast days, everyone will be brought in alignment with the teachings directly face to face from Yahweh Shai. No comes the accountability. No comes, you can't go off when Yahweh Shai give it to you plain. No, Yahweh Shai pleading to you face to face, showing you how to do it. You can't be like, well, when we was back in the world, we was doing it this way, and I feel more comfortable doing it that way, and I'm going to go back to doing it that way. That means you're going off in the wilderness, and you're going to get destroyed because of what? Not wanting to step out of your comfort zone. And you're going to have people challenging Christ. You're going to have people telling him, no, it don't go that way. They're going to be telling them, nah, that ain't how my elder taught me. And Yahweh Shai can be like, listen, this ain't no time. Listen, off with your head. Well, your elder had too. Let me be off with his head too. But I digress. I kid. But I'm saying it's going to literally be people challenging what comes from Christ in that day. Read on.
Verse 36. Like I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said the Lord.
So like when we were in the wilderness in Egypt, he pled with us through Moses, right? Moses taught us the what? He set up the Levitical what? Good. We were able to carry out the laws, execute the laws, right? Even before we got into the land. And when we got into the land, we received, additional laws that would govern us ourselves in the land. You understand that? So he pled with us in the first wilderness. He's going to plead with us in the second wilderness. Read on.
Verse 37. And I will cause you to pass under the rod.
So the rod, who could tell me what type of rod that is? Rod of correction. You will be corrected in the wilderness. Two types, two ways, two times. Corrected by being taught the doctrine correctly, and corrected by if you go off. Yeah, man, it's you head gonna go off. Read on.
And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
The bond of the covenant. So you're going to go into the bond of the new covenant. It's going to be enforced once you get taught. That's the accountability that I mentioned earlier. Once you come into the bond of the new covenant and Christ actually teaches you himself face to face, now you're accountable to now what? Keep what you have been taught. You'll be brought into the bond. Now it's in effect. Y'all get the point? Good. Read on.
And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, and I will purge out from among you the rebels.
He's going to purge out from among us the rebels. So those that directly go against Yahweh Shai, saying, no, I don't believe it go like that. No, I don't believe. They're going to tell him, listen, I read about you in the book of Matthew, and it says your mother was impregnated by an angel. Christ's going to be like, let me tell you how we go. My father was a man named what? Joseph. No, Christ, that ain't how we go. Listen, off with your head. You gonna tell me no, that ain't how we go? So he's gonna plead with us face to face. He's going to correct us. We're gonna become accountable, and then he's gonna purge out the rebels. Rebels, root word of rebellion. There's gonna be a lot of people rebelling in the wilderness. Oh yeah. People won't be there talking about, hey, Ak, listen, Ak, I saved this for a special occasion. Look at that guy. Ball up, bro. We made it. Look around. We made it to the wilderness, bro. We at one. We with nature. Listen, Yahweh Shai gone on a mission right now. He probably ain't going to be back till whenever. Bro, let's just spark this thing up one time for like old times. And as you spark that thing, your whole body gonna just get inflamed with the same flame that you just lit that thing, engulfed in the whole flame of it. Burnt to smithereens. Burning. And you're gonna be like a running fireman. Running. Screaming. Ah! And everybody gonna be like, what's going on over there? A guy running on fire. Yeah, because he tried to smoke and Yahweh Shai smoked him. Yeah, I guess the point. So for those brothers who battling with that thing, now would be the time to stop. Because you're gonna die anyway. He said you're going to purge out the rebels. All right, from among us. And those who want to break the other laws. Y'all get the point? Read on.
And them that transgress against me, I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel.
So they're going to make it to the wilderness, but they're not going to enter into the land. Now, the wilderness is that trial period. You know, when your trial period up for Netflix, they want you to pay. When your trial period up in the wilderness, you're going to see whether or not you enter into the land, or you got to pay with your blood, with your life. Y'all get the point? So, them that transgress against me, meaning he's going to kill those that transgress against him. All right, what verse was that? 38? Okay, good. Read on.
And you shall know that I am the Lord.
Good. You shall know that he is the Lord. So now, when it comes to transgressing against him, it's not just the physical things that you can see. It goes also into the spiritual things that you can't see. Right? Your spiritual attitude. A lot of people don't think about that aspect of it when you get to the wilderness. It won't just be directly people who's doing things like smoking and smuggling some pork to the wilderness, or it's going to be people who have the wrong spirit as well. People who hating their brother or hating their sister in their heart, or not wanting to be around their people, right? Because the book of John tells you, hereby we know that we love God when we love the children of God. So, like, if you have this kind of spirit whereby you want to be like standoffish, you're not going to make it out the wilderness. If you have this kind of spirit whereby you just want to be by yourself and you don't want to be around your people and you just want to wander off and be off and go off, and going off in the wilderness will cause you to get cut off from your people. You ever realize when the Most High say get cut off from among your people, what does that mean? Cut off from among your people. Destroy or kill, right? But then think about being cut off from your people. When something is cut off, it's not any longer together with, not a part of, not being one with. But then there's people in their mind they don't want to be with, they don't want to be a part of, they don't want to unite, they don't want to be together. So it's like they're there, but they're not there. They're there, but spiritually they're elsewhere. So what's going to happen to you? You're going to get cut off from your people, because Yahushua will give you what you want. You want to go off? Cool, I will cut you off. You want to wander off and do your own thing? Bet. Go ahead. Be that way. Let's get the book of Deuteronomy 8 and verse 2. Deuteronomy 8 and verse 2.
Reading from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8 and verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee.
To do what?
To humble thee.
So you went into the wilderness so you could be humbled. Y'all get the point? The wilderness is not a place for comfort. The wilderness is a place where the Most High can remove the stoniness of your heart. What is the stoniness of your heart? This, okay, rebellion, things, you being in the wrong spirit. He put you in the wilderness to root that out of you. Y'all get the point? And rooting something out of you doesn't come through comfort. Rooting something out of you doesn't come with a nice feeling. It's not a nice feeling. Growing pains doesn't feel good. Y'all get the point? But he's trying to develop some character out of you, because we all have what? Character flaws. And because we have character flaws, in order to perfect us, he has to carry you through that harsh, bitter wilderness. Read on. So to humble you.
And to prove thee.
And to what?
To prove thee.
So why does the Most High send us to the wilderness? To do what? To prove you. Now, who could tell me why does the wilderness prove you? Let me hear from the sisters. Sister Ruth, how does the wilderness prove you? When you come out here, nature, you don't have the accoutrements of the world, how does that prove you? How does that prove what kind of spirit you're really in? You're not sure? So okay. If you're not coping properly, you will really show how you really feel. Okay, you're getting somewhere with it. Sister Anja, what about you? How does the wilderness prove you? Okay, your adaptability. How you act when you face diversity. Okay. You get into some things. Okay. What about how I like to go down that road when you're faced with adversity. Right? Because in the wilderness, what's out there? What's out there? It's just nature. Right? Do you have all the accoutrements of the world out there? No. It's just bare bones. Bare bones will show you what spirit you're in. Because a lot of people get very what? Irritable when they don't have their comforts around them. Y'all get your point? When they don't have the comforts around them, they get kind of, you ever see a crackhead? It's like this. Gotta get back in and see why. I gotta, man, I can't deal with this. I can't, flies and mosquitoes. Lord, I don't want to be here no more. I want to leave. And then, when you're irritated on that level, Brother DeAndre, with just everything that's around you, and you don't like it, that causes you to be irritated with what? What else? Or who else? Everybody that's around you. Everybody. One thing got you upset, now everything got you upset. It proves you to see what spirit you're in. That's why the Most High has to bring you into the wilderness. He has to prove you there. He has to show, and he's not proving to himself. Who is he proving it to? No, he's not proving it to himself. He already know you. He created you. He know what type of spirit you're in. His eyes shine brighter than 10,000 suns. He knows you to a T. Nothing you does surprises him. Who are you proving? Yourself. He's showing you what kind of person you really are. Because you know our people. You would ask them, okay, so you in the truth? Yes. Are you a good brother and sister? Yes, absolutely. No one speaks bad about themselves, right? But what speaks for you? Your actions. Thank you, my brother. Good. So, what verse was that? That was verse 2. Finish it out. Go ahead. Prove you.
And to know what was in thy heart.
To know what was in your heart. Come on.
Whether they would keep his commandment or not.
And when people are irritated and they don't like what's going on and they don't want to be here, it's very difficult for them to keep the commandments. It's very easy for them to go off because I really don't want to be here. I really don't like it here. Mosquitoes biting me and flies flying around me, and I don't get to drink icy drinks, and I don't get to be in the AC, and I don't get to be chilled up watching some show on Netflix and relaxing and cooling out. You got to see what's in your heart, because when you're feeling like that, the commandments come secondary to you. It's like, I don't really care about the commandments like that. Just want to get out of here. We're going to show you the hack, though. So verse 3, watch this. Deuteronomy 8 and verse 3, yes.
Verse 3. And he humbled thee.
So this wilderness humbles you. It puts you in a humble spirit, right? If you open for correction. If you open to keep the commandments while going through, the Most High rooting out the stony heart out of you. Read on.
And fed thee with manna.
Fed you with manna. So he gave you the bare essentials. Read on.
Which thou knowest not.
Which you knowest not. Come on.
Neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live.
So you understand this? Where this is coming from? The bare essentials. The Most High provided you with manna when you were back in the wilderness. He gave you exactly what you need. Clothes that wouldn't rip or tear, shoes that would grow on your feet as you grew, manna that fell from the sky that would taste like anything you wanted it to. But our people still did what? They still murmured and complained, and they said, we want to go back to Egypt. They said, we don't like it here. Right? But he did that to prove them. As he's proving you right now. Examine your spirit to see what spirit you're in. Examine your spirit to see how the Most High, what are the things he needs to change? The things that the Most High needs to change out of you, use the wilderness experience to change those things, to become a better man, to become a better woman, to become the best version of yourself. And really look at to see the things that irritate you when you're here in the wilderness. Examine it. Look at it. See if it's worth complaining over. And tell yourself this. Do you have food? If the answer is yes, you have nothing to complain about. If you have a shelter over your head at night, as you do out here, you have nothing to complain about. If you have the love of your brothers and your sisters around you, you have nothing to complain about. You have water to drink, You have nothing to complain about. What else is there? What else do you need? If you have all those things, what else do you need? Everything else is just what you've been made to complain about, like things that you've been taught to complain about. Because if you really boil it down, you ever see some vagrants on the street? For those of you that don't know this name I'm about to call, you're watching online, we have a vagrant here called Pinders. Pinder. Well, we call him Pinders. About how old is Pinders, Colonel? Roughly. Colonel even lost. You lost count, right? Is he probably in his 80s? It could be. We don't know. There's. What about you, Gaba? About how old is Pinders? Around his 80s? Pinders, right? Living a stress-free life. There's been many that came and many that left before him. And Pinders, all Pinders like to know is that he has something to eat in the evening, right? He beg you a little change, he eats, right? And he just relaxes on the court steps and he chills out. The stresses that everybody else have with making this payment, insurance payment and mortgage payment, car note payment and this payment and that payment, people have died from all kind of hypertension, diabetes, right? Liver disease, cancer, and Pinder's still going. And they were younger than him and they done passed on. Because all Pinder's concerned with, he has the bare essentials for life and he's alright. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. You kill yourself a lot quicker when you stress out over things that really and truly there's no need to. Do you have a roof over your head? If the answer is yes, stop stressing. Do you have water to drink? The answer is yes, stop stressing. Right? Now if you put yourself in hot water and now you bit off more than you could chew, now you can't sleep at night because now you're thinking about how you're going to pay this and how you're going to pay. That's part of the matrix, but you got to know unmatrix yourself. Work towards becoming self-reliant where you don't have to depend on. Now we know it's not as easy said as done in this matrix, because this matrix is tough, right? To survive and thrive and to make money, you have to be a part of the matrix to some extent. But use the matrix to work towards, when you get to a certain age, you don't have to now rely so much on certain things. Okay, to make your life a little bit easier. Right. But if you have the bare essentials, the basics, yeah. Start, like the book of Jeremiah says, plant your gardens, right, Colonel? Plant your gardens, get your families, keep these commandments. Stop stressing. If you're keeping these commandments, the Most High will send Christ to save you. What verse was that? Verse 3, read on.
Verse 4. Thy raiment wax not old upon thee,
Come on.
neither do thy foot swell these 40 years. Verse 5. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chastiseth his son, so the Lord thy God chastiseth thee.
So understand this. Being in the wilderness is a time so that the Most High can correct you. Be open to correction. So when correction comes down, you're in the wilderness, yes, you feel irritated. The correction that's coming to you, understand the Lord use. Well, it could be a brother. It could be, one of the brothers pull you aside. Colonel could pull you aside and say, hey, man, I notice like certain, like, you're in the wrong spirit. Take the correction. Take the correction. Use it. Build upon it. You can't pull you aside and say, man, I notice, this kind of spirit you've been in, it's been kind of off. Don't use that to rebel in the wilderness. Take that and be like, thank you for pointing that out. I will work on that. That's the right spirit to be in. But our forefathers did the opposite. Read on.
Verse 6. Therefore, thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to fear him.
And to fear him. Okay? That's why he brought you into the wilderness, to teach you that fear of him as well. All right? Give me verse 7.
Verse 7. For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains, and depths that spring out of valleys and hills.
So, relying on the Most High for your bare essentials is what he's trying to instill in you. Most of us, we rely on what? In the matrix. We rely on There you go. The system. We rely on the system to be our provider. The Most High has to strip you down to bare essentials so that you rely on Him and only Him for provision. It's to root out that uncertainty and that doubt that you place in. You place your faith in everything else except the Most High. When all He wants to do is bring you into the wilderness, strip you down to bare essentials, give you the basics, so that you can rely on who? Him. There you go. Read on.
Verse 8. A land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates. A land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it. A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass.
Good. So reliance on the Most High for your bare essentials. And understand it's the earth that brings forth these things, the wheat and the honey. What makes honey is the bees. What makes wheat, it comes out of the earth. The bare essentials. Because you realize what we eat today is not food. What is it? It's food-like products. It's made to taste like food. It's not actual food. So the Most High gives us actual food. He wants you to rely on Him for actual food. And not just physical food, but also what? Spiritual food. Okay, but He can only give you that spiritual food when your spirit is in the right place to receive it. He got to bring you into the wilderness to do that, to strip you down to bare essentials. Let's get the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. All right, Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. We'll be going to chapter 29. All right, the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 29, and we'll pick it up at verse 21. Ecclesiasticus 29 and verse 21. For those of you that's joining us, we want to just welcome you. Shalom, happy Sabbath day, happy Feast of Tabernacles 2024. As you can see, we're out here in beautiful nature, celebrating this thing and bringing it live to our people. All praises.
Reading from the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 29, commencing at verse 21.
Come on.
The chief things of life is water.
The chief things of life. Listen to this closely. The chief things in life is water
and bread
and bread
and clothing
and clothing
and a house to cover shame.
and a house to cover shame. So those are something to eat, something to drink, and a roof to cover your head. If you have the bare essentials, what are you worrying about? You could put your worry elsewhere. Put your worry on whether or not you're going to get into the kingdom. Put your worry on whether or not you're putting enough bricks for the Most High God. If you have those bare essentials already covered, half the battle is already won. Because now you can focus the rest on it on what? Putting in your brick for Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. So why you complaining and murmuring the things in the way I would like it to be, and I'm trying to work towards to get this? And if you have the bare essentials, keep these commandments, whatever the Most High deems it fit to come to pass in your life in terms of the pleasures of your heart, the desires of your heart. Sorry, the desires. We don't use that word pleasures. Desires of your heart. He will bring it to pass if it aligns with what He has for you. So why are you worrying? Good. Drop that and give me the book of Psalms, chapter 107. The book of Psalms, chapter 107 and verse 3 and 4. Psalms 107, 3 and 4.
Reading from the book of Psalms 107, verses 3 and 4. And gather them out of the lands from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south. Verse 4. That they wandered in the wilderness in a solitary way. They found no city to dwell in.
So, the wilderness is not a time for comfort. It's a time where, you might be in there for a while where you're feeling like You don't like it here. You feel like in a spirit of wandering. You're feeling like this is not what you're accustomed to. This is not what you're used to. Like it's hot. I don't like it. Bare essentials. So you gotta get used to the heat. Just get used to it. Most likely gonna give you water there. He says he's gonna nourish you there. You may not have these fans and these things. No, you might have to make some fans out of some coconut leaf. And I see them brothers in TOC Guyana. Listen, I seen some videos. These guys were making literal booths out of whatever they found in there. How many of y'all saw the videos? Put your hands up. Who saw the videos that the soldiers from Guyana put in the chat? Y'all didn't see those videos? But y'all need to check the group chat fast. Because these brothers, you saw it, Colonel? These brothers, oh, you didn't have no service? You see that we ain't got no service over here. That's to show you how way out we are, away from society. We ain't got no service. We ain't got a lot of things. But what we do have, we're making it work. What we do have. Now, I got to give thanks because we got way more than we going to have in the next wilderness that's to come. Because you ain't going to have no power, and no generator, and no fans, and no internet, and no... Your phone ain't going to be working out there. So those of you who really like attached to your phone, like you're so attached to your phone, it's like you can't put your phone down for 2 minutes. You're just so attached to it. What's going to happen to you in the wilderness? You're going to be upset and irritated that it's not working, and that spirit will spill over into what, Sister Ruth? When you're irritated like that, you don't have no data, it ain't working, you don't want to be here, it's hot. What is it going to spill over into? It's going to spill over into you going off on your sis or going off on a brother. So that's why you got to develop the right spirit right now, a spirit of bare essentials. Learn how to make do with the bare essentials, so by the time you get to the wilderness, you're accustomed of just bare bones essentials. Get accustomed to it. So connect with nature. Connect with being out in the wilderness, not having all the accoutrements of the world. Be accustomed to that. And to the brothers, really learn how to use your hands, make things, be industrious, learn how to build things, learn how to construct things. You're going to need those skills, those life skills in the wilderness. Now, Colonel, remember me and you had a conversation when it was yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever it was. You were mentioning, you remember when you were in the force, right? And how these youngsters today, how their MREs are now just different to what you guys had, right? Just touch on what the difference is today in terms of what they eat now compared to what you remember eating.
Today you have meals ready to eat. Everything is pre-packaged, pre-prepared. You have to take with you what you're going to prepare and cook it yourself. So you have to light your own fire. You have to cook your own oats. You have to, whatever you wanted to do. You just had the raw ingredients and you have to make your meal. Now the meal is all packaged.
So. Wow. All packaged. And I'm pretty sure even with
ready
that,
to eat.
right. And I'm pretty sure with that, they still would like it different still, even though everything is pre-packaged. Right? No, Colonel come from a place where, listen, it was different. All right? And it's not like it is today. But what we're trying to show you is, it's like our people today. We have so much things readily available to us. It's almost like it spoils us. So now, coming to the wilderness, I remember the first year we went out into the wilderness. One sister was like, a mosquito came and he was like, she was like, home. She tells her husband, watch, This is going to be the first and last night. Can't do it. Because not accustomed to, when you're home, you got your mosquito screen on your window and you got your bop and your flit and your bug spray and you got all those things. Out here, most most I gotta try you, man, to see how you built, to see if you built different, to see if you're a complainer, to see if you're a murmurer, to really try you. That's what the most I gotta do. So for each and every one of us, I want you to really just examine what the most high, the work that he has to do in you to change your spirit. Now, I know Colonel built different, because Colonel's a man. He loves the outdoors. Listen, what happened last year? Is it the wind came and blood on with thing, right? It was like a little mini storm. Colonel Kami say, watch cap. We going back out there, you know. He said, we heading back out there. I said, boy, Colonel, man, sure, you know, because the weather looking kind of, you know. He said, nah, man, we could survive this thing. We could survive this thing, right? And you need men like that around you in terms of just knowing how to brave the weather, brave the storm, right? And to encourage everyone else to be in that spirit, right? Yeah, absolutely. What verse was that? That was verse 4, right? Yes, they wandered in the wilderness in a solitary way. They found no city to dwell in. All right, so it's like that feeling of unrest. All right, let's get Psalms 107 verses 5.
Reading from the book of Psalms 107, verse 5.
Come on.
Hungry and thirsty.
Hungry and thirsty, come on.
Their souls fainted in them.
Their souls fainted in them. No, it's not that they didn't have nothing to eat, you know. It's just that they didn't have what they wanted to eat. You understand that? Read on.
Verse 6. Then they cried unto the Lord in their troubles, and he delivered them out of their distress.
Because the Most High wanted to rely on him and him only. That's why he will break you down to bare essentials. He wants you to rely on him. Read on.
Verse 7. And he led them forth by the right way, that they might go to a city of habitation.
He led them. He led them. So in order for the Most High to lead you, you got to know, root that stony heart out of you. When he strip you down to bare essentials, analyze your spirit, change your spirit. All right? Let's get the book of Matthew 4 and verse 1. You got to examine your ways. Examine yourself. Matthew 4 verse 1. How many of you know that Christ, he also went into the wilderness to be tried, to be proven? You guys know that? Okay. Let's see that. Matthew 4 verse 1.
Reading from the book of Matthew, chapter 4, and verse 1.
Come on.
Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness.
Into the where?
Into the wilderness.
So Yahushua went into the wilderness. Come on.
To be tempted of the devil.
Oh, to be tempted of the devil, to be tried. So Christ himself had to be tried. Is Christ any different to us? Let me see those who think Christ was born of immaculate conception. Let me see who can say that. Christ is just the same like us. The Bible says he was made like unto us in all things, all things, all things. So he went to be tempted. Let's see how he handled that thing. Watch this.
When he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights.
So he was fasting 40 days and 40 nights.
He was afterward and hungered.
He was of hunger. You understand that? Come on.
And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command these stones be made bread.
Read on.
Verse 4. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God.
So what did he respond with? Where did Christ quote that from? Where did Christ quote that from, brothers? Y'all falling asleep, man. Y'all in the wilderness falling asleep. Deuteronomy what? We read it earlier. Deuteronomy 8. It should be right there in your notes. So he responded with the law, the word. Right? Good. That's how Christ dealt with that thing. So, how you going to deal with your temptations or your irritability, or you're in the wilderness and you're not liking the time there, it's out of your comfort zone. How you going to deal with it is just keeping the commandments. That's going to put you in a different spirit. All right? Now, he had to be tempted in the same way we get tempted. Let's get Hebrews 2 and 17. Hebrews 2 and 17. Hebrews 2 and verse 17. Yeah, Christ is no different to us. Hebrews 2 and 17.
Reading from the book of Hebrews, chapter 2 and verse 17.
Come on.
Wherefore in all things it behoves him to be made like unto his brethren.
He said, all things. All things Christ was made like unto his brothers. All things, not some things. All things. Now you ask a Christian that if Christ was made like unto all things, they would say, no, 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 no. The scripture says all things. Read on.
That he might be merciful and faithful, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people.
Good. He can make reconciliation for us. He can plead on our behalf because he could relate to us. He's made like unto us in all things. He's relatable. We're relatable to him as well. Okay? Good. He's no different to us when he walked the earth. Of course, now he's in his glory state now, right? But when he was here, he was made just like unto me and you. Suffered the same temptations like me and you. I get the point? But he overcame it by doing what? Applying the commandments. Y'all get the point. Good. Let's get the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10 and verse 16 to 18. Wisdom of Solomon. All right. Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 10, verses 16 to 18.
Reading from the book, the Apocrypha, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, commencing at verse 16. She delivered the righteous people and blameless seed from the nation that oppressed them.
So the she is talking about wisdom. Wisdom. Wisdom is who or what is being referred to here as this allegory, as the her or the she. Come on.
She entered into the soul of the servant of the Lord, and withstood dreadful kings and wonders and signs.
Come on.
Rendered to the righteous a reward of their labor. Guide them in a marvelous way, as was unto them for a cover by day and a light of stars in the night season.
So wisdom is really what led them through wisdom of Christ. Wisdom through the Spirit of Christ is really what led them. Now, when it says guided them in a marvelous way and was unto them a cover by day and a light by night, what is that referring to? Or where was that referring to? Give the brother a hand for me, please. So we went out of Egypt, went into the wilderness, but what led us there? But we just read it there. Wisdom. The wisdom of Christ. Right? That's what led us through. All right? What verse you at? Go ahead. Read on.
Verse 18. Brought them through the Red Sea and led them through much water.
Led them through much water. So what's going to benefit you in the wilderness? Is wisdom. You need wisdom, but the wisdom of Christ. Use the things that Christ used when he was tempted in the wilderness so that you're not tempted. Well, you will get tempted, but how you combat the temptation is by applying the commandments, right? Through wisdom. Our praises. So now, give me 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 73 to 75. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verses 73 to 75.
Reading from the book, 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, commencing at verse 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in fire.
So the Most High's objective, he got to try you, just as, gold is tried in fire. Read on.
74. Hear, O my beloved, said the Lord. Behold, The days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same.
But the Most High says he's going to deliver you from the same. So we don't know how long we're going to actually be in the wilderness for. It says for a time and half a time. We don't know. But if you're going to make it out of the wilderness and into the promised land, into the new land, into the city of God, into the new Jerusalem, right? You got to be tried. You got to be tested. You got to apply that wisdom of Christ, right? But now it says the Most High, he going to deliver you, right? What verse was that? Verse 73, right? So now he says then, no, sorry. The verse that you read just now was 73? Okay, good. Read 74 for me now. Oh, you read 74, right? Good. So we read 74. It says he will deliver you. He will deliver you. He will deliver you. So you want to be delivered when that second wilderness comes. All right? Good. Now give me verse 75.
Verse 75. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt.
Neither doubt.
For God is your guide.
The Most High is your guide. All right? So, to survive in this wilderness, you're going to have wisdom, the wisdom of Christ. To survive in this wilderness, you're going to have to be in the right spirit. To survive in this wilderness, all you need is the bare essentials. To survive in this wilderness, to the men, you're going to have to learn how to make things, use your hands, be creative, know how to construct things, right? Be problem solvers. Don't be problem makers. Be problem solvers. Something happens, we put heads together. Let's figure out how we're going to solve this. What's the next move? How are we going to accomplish it? How are we going to solve it? Y'all get the point? That's how you got to be in the wilderness. That's how you're going to make it out, because you're going to be there for a while. You don't know how long. So to make the best of the time when you're there, you got to be in the right spirit. And don't be in a spirit whereby you feel you need to be cut off from your people, because the Most are going to really give you that thing for real. Be with your people. If your people going through it in the wilderness, go through it with them. Right? I remember hearing from a couple of schools, well, a couple of reports that came from schools. You had brothers out there in the wilderness, a storm came, and some brothers left and went to a hotel. That ain't right. That's selfish as hell. If your brother's there going through it, you go through it with them. Be there with your people. And if y'all go into a hotel, well, we all go into a hotel together. All. Because that cut off, that selfish mentality is going to get a lot of y'all killed. I'm just going to be honest and be straight up. Because a lot of people like to talk about love and the attributes of love. And it says when love is patient, love is kind, love is what? It's pure, it's not selfish. But then they don't want to apply that when it comes to dealing with their brothers and their sisters. They forget that part. So put your heads together. Be of one spirit. Be of one mind. Be of one body. Learn how to be in an accomplishing mode. Learn how to work with your hands. And everybody's proficient in something. Everyone. You have your talent. You have your abilities. You put all of it together. There's nothing you cannot do. For the sisters as well, be industrious. Ask, is there anything that we could do to help? Is there anything that needs doing? Don't just, you just there, just waiting for something to happen. No, you have to make use of the time. Be in the right spirit. What is it that needs to be done right now? Right? When is the next meal that's coming up? We'll get it sorted. We'll get it ready and prepped. Are the men going out to do something right now? We'll get things sorted. Like, you got to be in that kind of mode where y'all working as one in unison in the wilderness together. Because how y'all going to make it out together if you don't have a together spirit while y'all there? Y'all planning to make it out of there together. It ain't going to happen. You're dreaming. So, brothers, sisters, really get in the right spirit. If you want the Most High to deliver you out of that thing, deliver you out of the second wilderness, all of this is trial period for when we get there. Should you make it there? But we pray that y'all do make it there. We pray that if you do make it there, you don't get cut off when you do get there. We pray that you make it out of that thing. But we're giving you what you need, the bare essentials of how you can make it out of there. All you need is food, water, clothing, shelter. The rest of it is the commandments from within. Learn on loving your brother from inside. Learn on not being a selfish, I was going to say, and it's not a bad word, but it's a bastard. It's in the Bible. Stop being selfish bastards. Stop just being for self. Root that thing out of your spirit early. A lot of people have problems, character flaws, working them things out. Because they've never had to before. But the wilderness shows you got to get out of that spirit. All right? All praise. So we're going to end it there today. Keep these things in mind, Israel. All right? Survival in the wilderness. All right? I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us on today's special Sabbath class. We're out in the wilderness. Feast of Tabernacles 2024. Let's give it up for the Most High Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man. All praises, man. Let's give it up. I'm going to just say the heat. The heat got him sound like we were at a funeral or something. I don't know. I'm going to just say the heat. Y'all in the wrong spirit. Y'all need to repent. But we enjoy our spirit. It's a Sabbath. We're on Feast of Tabernacles. We're happy to be here. We want to thank you, Israel, for joining us. Be sure to send your alms, your donations, your offerings. The links are in the description. You know what you need to do for us to continue doing what we need to do, which is putting our brick in for the kingdom. All right? All praises to the Most High. Thank you once again. And if you have any questions, concern, inquiries, suggestions, send us an email, tocisraelites@gmail.com, or hit us up on any one of our platforms at the same handle, tocisraelites. At whatever handle it is, Instagram, Facebook, and we're streaming this from our new page as well. So I need everybody to go share the new page. It's called TOC in the Scripts. Again, TOC in the Scripts. We need everybody to, because we're just building up that page. All right, we just got like a very small amount of subscribers because we just literally started this page to get it going. All right, so it's not the main page that we streamed from last week. We're streaming from today from TOC in the Scripts. So this YouTube page will deal with all the Sabbath classes and all the other High Holy Day classes and every class that coming out of the scripts, TOC in the Scripts. So we need y'all to really share that thing, and so we could get a subscriber count up for that as well. All right, so please continue sharing. We appreciate you, Israel. All praises to the Most High. We'll catch you on the next one. Shalom.